Hi there and welcome to another narrated and hopefully eagerly awaited car cleaning guru video. Here I'll be making use of this 2005 Palma Red Evo FQ-340 to test a handful of products generously sent over from fellow British detailer James B of Auto Finesse to see exactly what they've got to offer. Being over a decade old and the type of car that tends to be driven hard, it was suitably sporting a layer of dusty road dirt as well as plenty of splattered summer bugs, which certainly weren't helping the sought after sports saloon look any younger. However, all this mess provided the perfect opportunity for the new stuff to show what sort of a realistic transformation it could give a well-used motor like this. The fancy looking gear I promptly received the day after accepting the Auto Finesse challenge included a detail spray, glass cleaner, tyre dressing, shampoo, all in one polish, snow foam and plush microfibre drying towel, all of which I intended to test out on the exterior of the car in the correct order. First up was the aptly named Avalanche snow foam, which in its 1 litre bottle would be more than enough product to soak the Mitsubishi, or any other car for that matter, from head to toe in suds a fair few times. Following the directions, I added a couple of inches of the citrus infused pre-cleaner into my foam lance and topped it off with water, before thoroughly avalanching the car in snow and leaving it to soak. This is the third brand of snow foam I've tried so far this year, and to be honest, aside from their discreet scents and colours, I'd be hard pushed to tell the difference in a blind test scenario. A lot of people ask me which I think the best or my favourite snow foam is, but in my opinion, so long as they can quickly cover a dirty dusty car in a thick layer of slow receding suds, which this Avalanche from Auto Finesse clearly could, then jobs are good and I say. I chose not to take the time to agitate the foam with a soft brush here, simply because the sun was beating down, and so instead let it slump over the car's dirty details for a few moments to pull off as much as the loose dirt as possible, before blasting it off with the pressure washer to prevent it from drying on the sizzling red hot surface. With the foaming finished, it was on to contact washing with the tangerine scented Lather car shampoo, a few cupfuls of which were squirted into a bucket before being fully frothed up. The shampoo is used alongside one of my trusty synthetic mitts complete with colour-coded red wristband to wash each panel of the Evo in the 2-bucket manner. And as you'd expect from a product with a name like Lather, it foamed up well and felt plenty slick enough when being drawn over the surface, which was probably thanks to the concentrated lubricants it contains. Working in the direct summer sun, I had to crack on, and so the paintwork may not have seen as thorough a scrub as I would have preferred for an undetailed car like this. However, a decent shampoo should be capable of effectively cleaning the surface with minimal contact anyway. And speaking of the sun, its rays most likely impacted the efficacy and life of the lather somewhat, although as far as I was concerned it was still doing a sterling job of preparing the paintwork for a subsequent hand polish in the difficult conditions. Once swiftly washed in the direct sunlight, the car was thoroughly rinsed off from top to bottom one last time to remove the now loose dirt particles and lather residue, to cool the surface somewhat and cover the car in as much fresh rinse water as possible to test the absorption capabilities of the plush new drying towel. Named the Aqua Deluxe, the turquoise microfiber towel definitely has a sumptuous feel, and its deep pile means you can be confident any stray dirt particles left on the car will be safely locked up in the long fibres and away from the surface of the paintwork. With the temperature still rising, I didn't have time to hang around and give the car a pampering pat dry as this large type of heavy towel is more suited to, yet with the paintwork being swirled and marred already, there wouldn't really have been much benefit to using it in this manner anyway. Instead, it was relatively quickly drawn over the hot surface to pull off the rinse water and leave a streak-free finish in the heat, and although it perhaps wasn't the best test of the towel's capabilities as a lot of the water was also subject to evaporation on the hot panels, after one pass with the towel I could positively tell it had top spec sucking skills. While long pile towels like this can sometimes serve to leave a little mottled rinse water residue behind, simply because more of it is being locked away in the fibres, they can be brilliant for effortlessly drawing unseen standing water out from crevices and details such as the inlets on this Evo's front bumper, which, if dried off with a less plush towel, might continue to seep water out, leading to unsightly spots and streaks. Lower areas were of course dried off last, and while on a previously undetailed car like this it could still have stray contaminants residing around these areas, I generally prefer to use a secondary smaller towel to prevent cross-contamination of the main one. The theme of the video meant I kept hold of this for the lowers as well. Yes, the heat naturally removes some of the surface rinse water, but I did re-rinse each panel before hitting record to ensure the towel wasn't being drawn over a dry surface. Yet despite the level of water being absorbed, the Aqua Deluxe didn't feel saturated in any way and remained absorbent and effective the entire time. Tyres were up next, and the generously sized 500ml bottle of Satin Tyre cream was the rejuvenating order of the day. It was first applied to a fresh foam applicator pad and dabbed around the tyre wall before being thoroughly worked into the surface, and yes, I'm well aware the tyres are naff. The owner even joked about them being manufactured from melted down dustbin lids, but they came with the car, have plenty of tread and provided me with a nice texture to test the dressing out on, so who was I to judge? The main advantage of a cream dressing over a liquid one is a cleaner application with less likelihood of sling. However, being thicker they can take a little longer to apply. This dressing from Auto Finesse went on a treat, and once a few layers had been worked over, it gave a nice semi-gloss finish to the cheap Chinese Tyre walls, although a quick buff with a dry towel would easily knock it back to more of a satin appearance if that's what tickles your fancy. Time to breathe a little life back into the swirled and somewhat oxidised Palma red paintwork then, for which the chrome topped triple all-in-one polish, which simultaneously cleans, enhances and protects, was called upon. Although not a heavy cutting compound, the polish was used in conjunction with a microfibre applicator pad to help give it the best shot at adequately renovating the paintwork. It was applied to the pad and spread over the surface before being worked in using a combination of circular and linear motions to ensure the unsightly swirls were hit from all angles, and while I fully expected it to make life hard in the heat, partly because it says on the bottle not to use in direct sunlight, I was pleasantly surprised as it stayed nice and slick throughout and buffed off with ease to leave a crisp smear-free finish. I must admit I do like all-in-one products as they're a massive time saver for someone like me who never seems to have enough of it when cleaning. Obviously you're not going to get anywhere near the finish a proper machine polish with dedicated multi-stage products could, and admittedly it's not a true finish in the sense that their ingredients serve to mask defects rather than fully remove them. However, they do provide the means to achieve realistic finishes on cars like this in a single sitting. Although the sky was starting to cloud over, I'd estimate the product was removing or at least masking around 50% of the light defect, as well as noticeably increasing the gloss factor of the finish, which wasn't too shabby for a single pass by hand in my eyes. With a little more time and dedication, the polish could instead be worked in with a suitable machine, and I could only imagine the overall improvement in finish that could be achieved if this was undertaken. The wing mirrors and door handles of the FQ had started to turn pink over the years, and while it had initially felt as though the product didn't have much bite, after polishing these areas there was definite paint transfer on the pad, so it must have some light cutting capabilities. And while really in need of a good machining, these areas did look a whole lot better for a quick once over with the all-in-one. Once the pad had turned sufficiently pink, I finished up with the polishing and moved on to the final product of the day, the finale quick detailer. Spritzed over the surface a panel at a time, the Carnauba based gloss enhancer, which is designed to maintain paintwork in between washes, was first wiped over with one microfiber towel, before being buffed over with another to remove any stray polish smears, as well as the light residue the spray itself left, and reveal a super fresh final finish. Although the sun had for the most part now retired, during breaks in the cloud, one thing I did notice about the detail spray, which I have with others too, is that in some areas it seemed to leave a slightly swirlier finish than before, which I suspect may be down to it washing out the ingredients in the freshly applied polish that was serving to mask them. This is just a theory of course, and perhaps I was being paranoid, but considering products like these are designed to clean and remove dirt, going for a spray wax product with no cleaning capabilities instead, like Auto Finesse's Glisten for example, might be a better way to go about safely boosting the finish. Still, swirl paranoia aside, the spray was definitely helping to remove any residue and give the paintwork a nice bright lustre under the moody skies, and although I had also been sent a bottle of crystal glass cleaner to try out, the finale worked so well on the windows that there was really no need. With all areas having received a final wipe down and buff off, I downed tools to grab some static aftershots of the freshly finessed Evo while there was still a bit of brightness in the sky. Compared to how it looked at the start of the day, the 11-year-old Mitsubishi appeared somewhat more sprightly, with the bright Palma red paintwork now sparkling in the sun, while the rich looking tyres complemented the gunmetal grey coloured multi-spoke wheels and carbon fibre aero parts nicely. Were there still a number of swirls present? Yes. Were there still areas of slight discoloration that required a heavier polish? Yes. But did the car look a whole lot better for being pampered with these products? Hell yes. Having been developed by a fellow British detailer who's clearly put his first-hand knowledge directly into the brand, you can be sure your pride and joy will be safe in the hands of Auto Finesse, and with plenty of other products also available in the range, from bulk all-purpose cleaners to fine paste waxes, they're definitely worth a test drive. Once again, thanks for sitting through another video, far more entertaining than the new series of Top Gear, I'm sure you'll agree. Do share your thoughts in the comments below if you've auto finessed any cars with this range yourself, and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more.